This is lesson 21. I'm sorry, we're going to do lesson 20. Sorry. Lesson 20, indirect objects. This should actually be a bit of a review for us too. Okay? So we're going to write at the top, our direct objects come after the action verb. And answer who or what. Our indirect objects indicate the person or thing to whom something is given. So to whom or for whom. Okay? To whom or for whom the direct object is given. Okay? So the first sentence, Old Mother Hubbard could not give her poor dog a bone. Okay? Our subject is Old Mother Hubbard. Could not give is our verb. Give what? Bone. That's our direct object. And our indirect object is dog. To whom are they giving the bone to? Okay? Remember, it's always verb, indirect object, direct object. You can never have an indirect object without a direct object. You have to have the two together. You have to have both. You have to have both direct object and indirect object. Okay? Our indirect object is diagrammed just like this. So we have Mother Hubbard could give what? Bone. Here's our indirect object. Her poor dog is described. Her poor is describing dog. Okay? So let's look at the next one. The teacher told the class an exciting story. What's our subject? Teacher. What'd your teacher do? Told. Told what? Story is your direct object. To whom did they tell the story? The class. That is our indirect object. Remember, indirect object is just diagrammed just like this. Okay, so the teacher told what? Story. To whom? The class. Okay, let's practice doing some of these together. Number 1, Dad, tell us the story about the big fish again. Okay, so our direct address is Dad. It's a command, so we have X. Okay, so tell is your verb. Tell what? Story is your direct object. To whom? Us is your indirect object. About the big fish is our prep phrase. So tell what? Story. We have the story. To whom? Us. About the big fish again. About fish, the, and big. Again is an adverb, so it goes under tell. Okay? Let's do number 5 together, and then you can do the rest on your own. Mrs. Hardesty handed an employee her grocery list. Do we have any prepositional phrases? No prep phrases. Okay? Our subject, our verb, handed what? Grocery list. To whom? The employee. So always find the direct object, then find the indirect object. So Mrs. Hardesty handed what? List. Grocery. Her. Okay. To whom? Employee. We have other words. Ms. Hardesty handed what? List. Her grocery. And an employee. All right, actually, let's do number 2 together, and then you can do the rest on your own. The waitress never offers anyone a glass of water. Do we have any prep phrases? Of waters or prep phrase. Waitress is our subject. Offers is your verb. Offers what? Glass. To whom? Anyone. Okay. Waitress, and then we have that. Again, this should be a review because we already took a quiz on this. Offers. Never's describing when, so it's an adverb underneath. Never offers what? Glass. We have Anyone's our indirect object. And then of water. All right, go ahead and complete the rest on your own. You have about 8 minutes to do that, and then the rest is homework if it's not done. Okay, this is lesson 20. This will be the answers for lesson 20, direct objects. It is going to be worth 25 points. Okay? So, I'll show you how to grade it here. Okay, we'll start with number 3. Okay? Mr. Jethro, our neighbor's newest resident, was showing everyone his new camera. There's no prepositional phrases. Okay? This is your appositive, this phrase. So we have Mr. Jethro. I'm going to abbreviate for sake of time. We have resident is your appositive. Okay? So for this one, you have to have the subject right. You need to have the verb right. Was showing. Was showing what? Camera. Showing who? Everyone. To whom. Okay? I want to make sure you have the appositive, that you have the subject, verb, direct object, and indirect object. Okay? You have to have all 5 of those. It's worth 5 points. If you have all 5 of those, it's correct. I know there's more words in the sentence, but those 5 is what you have to have. Okay? And then our goes here, newest or neighborhoods goes here, and newest goes there. And we have his, and we have new camera. Okay, I know those are part of the sentence, but again, you just have to have those 5 for it to be correct. Okay? So if you don't have this, it's -1. This, -2. This, -3, -4, -5. Okay? All right, number 4. I is your subject. Wouldn't give him a penny for that piece of junk is our prep phrases. Okay? So for this one, you have to have your prep phrases identified. That's 1 point. Okay? I, your subject, is another point. Wouldn't give is another point. Okay? 2, 3. Wouldn't give what? Penny. Him is your indirect object. Remember yesterday I told you I'd be looking for these parts of the sentence. Okay? Again, 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then identifying the prepositional phrases is your 5th point. Okay? So we still have the word and then we have 4 piece, that piece, and then we have of junk. Now again, that's part of it, but you don't have to have that to get the points. Okay? All right, let's go to number 6. Number 6, you is your subject. What did you give your brother for his birthday? For his birthday is your prep phrase. That's 1 point for identifying the prep phrase. Okay? You did give. Did give what? The word what is actually your direct object. And I hinted that to you yesterday, so we should have that correct. So we have 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point. And then brother is your indirect object. To whom did you give? Brother. I know we have the word your, but again, you don't have to have that to have the points. So 5 points. Okay? Number 7. Cornelia offered me $25 for my old bicycle. Prep phrase, 1 point for identifying that. Cornelia is your subject. Offered is your verb. Offered what? Dollars. To whom? Me. That's your indirect object. Okay? So again, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, 5 point. I know there's more parts of the sentence, but that's what you have to get your points. And then we have 25 is describing. And then offered, for, bicycle, and then my, and old. So yes, this should be diagrammed, but if it's not diagrammed correctly, the prep phrase, it's okay, you just have to have it identified. Okay? So that's 5 points. Number 8. Old Jim was telling the kids in the neighborhood stories about his adventures in the West. So we have in the neighborhood, about his adventures, and in the West. If you have all 3 of those identified, it's a point. Prep phrase. Okay? If you don't, it's -1. You don't have all 3 of those. Old Jim is your subject, another point. Was telling is your verb, another point. Was telling what? What would be stories? To whom is he telling the stories? Kids. Okay? So again, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, 5 point. I know there's more words to the sentence, but, and actually this should just be Jim. Either way though, you have it, it's fine. There's more parts to the sentence, but you have to have those to receive all of your points. Okay? And then we have stories about adventures. And then we have his describing that. And then the adventures in West. Let's put a W there. In the West. And then we still have in the neighborhood. Kids in neighborhood, the. Now again, these have to be diagrammed. If they're not, you don't lose that point. You just have to have them identified in the sentence. Okay? So again, that's where we get our 25 points from. So however many you had wrong in each one, add them up and put your score at the top out of 25, and then I'll give you your percentage. Any questions, please ask.